This is Trudy Haynes. You know now that Jim Kenney wants to be mayor of Philadelphia, and in this exclusive report, he tells you why. Thank you very much, by the way.
My pleasure.
This time. Tom Wolf, Jim Kenney, does that make it easier for you to get what we need in the city?
It makes it easier. It doesn't make it totally doable. The legislature, of course, has a lot to say about what resources come to Philadelphia for schools and for other things, but certainly having a governor who is like-minded and concerned about education and funding education appropriately, then I think we're better off than we were.
So what are you going after first?
Poverty. I mean, the biggest problem facing our city is that we're too poor. We have 26% of our people live in poverty. That creates a myriad of problems that we have to spend money on, like police and courts and prisons and dysfunctional families. And if people had jobs that you can earn a living and raise a family with, then you're going to have a much better city, you're going to have a much healthier city and a much safer city.
Okay, how are you going to do that?
Well, there's ways that we're looking at right now and investing in the commercial port down in South Philadelphia by using Navy Yard land to expand the container port to potentially create another 24,000 jobs, 25,000 jobs. Those jobs pay $35 to $40 an hour. You don't need a college education to do them, and for many years, men, mostly men, and women now, I guess, but mostly men when I was growing up, worked the waterfront. Was kind of a rough job, tough job, but it was 50% black, 50% white. Some guys were getting out of jail. Some people didn't have a college education at all. Some people didn't have a high school education. And those folks were able to raise their families and do well for their families based on that type of industrial work. So we can invest with both the state, the city, and the private sector to double the size of our container traffic in the Port of Philadelphia, and that will create thousands of jobs for people who are sorely in need of work, who may be coming back from prison, and don't have the skills to do IT or some of the high-tech stuff.
I'll get back to the prison terms because I know you're fighting some of those bails about that. But you were in city council for 24 years.
24 years.
Why didn't you do some of that then?
Because you don't have total control of the system. You can't direct a prison commissioner to do something. You can't direct or ask a police commissioner to do something. You are basically on the board of directors of a company. So the CEO or the president of the company has more ability and power and control to set an agenda, to do budgets, to spend money, or to recommend the spending of money in certain areas that other mayors don't. And I think that's important. The important element of why you can be more effective as a mayor as opposed to just a council member.
Education is a big problem, as you know, in most cities, and particularly here in Philadelphia. So what's going to happen to the SRC?
Well, it's not up to the mayor. The SRC is a creation of the legislature. It can go away by...
You're fighting that also.
Yeah, we could, look, there's a two-edged sword to that argument. You can get rid of they can vote themselves out of office or vote themselves out of power, or the legislature can take them out. But then you run the possibility of them saying, fine, well, you're really on your own now, and walking away from the entire system. The state of Pennsylvania has a responsibility to fully fund education in Pennsylvania. It's in the state constitution. So we're going to continue to fight to help them understand that and to provide the money necessary, not only for Philadelphia schools, but statewide. I mean, we are lagging sorely in education as a state across our country. And, I don't understand why some legislators or some folks think that education is a luxury instead of a necessity, but in other states, and in other countries especially, there's a lot more money spent on education than is spent in Pennsylvania.
How can we raise it? How can we raise the amount of support?
By having people throughout the state rise up in their districts and tell their state representatives and state senators that they think education is a priority. And that has not been done on a consistent basis, and it's become kind of a Philadelphia-only problem, but it's not a Philadelphia-only problem. Every county in the Commonwealth has this problem.
Where would the revenue come from? What do you suggest?
I mean, they should raise the Pennsylvania state income tax. It is we are
a
third. I understand that, but if you're looking for a holistic solution, at one point in the Pennsylvania state income tax will pay for a lot of things in schools, infrastructure. We are probably third from the bottom in income tax in the state. It's obviously not creating jobs. We're not, because we have a low tax state in the Commonwealth doesn't mean it translates into job creation. So that whole trickle-down theory never works and never will work. And they need to raise revenue. And what they wind up doing is doing things that are really taxes but hidden. Gaming, for example. Gaming is a tax on the poor and the old. And that's who's in those casinos, and that's who's playing those games for the most part. And that is money that they can't really afford to spend, but they do it anyway. So because they've approved gaming in Pennsylvania, well, we didn't raise any taxes. Well, you kind of did in a backdoor way. So, I mean, look, you have to raise revenue, and again, the income tax in Pennsylvania is low comparative to other commonwealths, and if you want to educate kids, improve your infrastructure, improve mass transit, and have a really modern state, that's the direction we need to go.
You're going to be in a sort of unfriendly climate here in Philadelphia.
Why?
Well, there are a lot of fractions, different
Yeah.
ethnic fractions here. And you seem to be popular with most of them, but where are your problems?
Well, I mean, I think community and policing issues are extremely important in every major city in the country. And the way we handle it, I mean, I think we've been handling it well lately. We still need to pay attention to it every day. We still need to pay attention to the dynamic between the police and our citizens. We need to continue to try to attract officers to the force that are like-minded, and we need to train and educate our police force in the academy before they come out as to the nuances of our various communities and the history of our various communities. For example, civil rights history should be a knowledgeable factor in every cadet that's graduating from the police academy. They should understand what Selma and what Birmingham means. They should understand what people have had to struggle through to get the vote, to get to sit where they want, to get to live where they want. And I think that interaction with our police, both African American officers, white officers, other ethnic groups officers, need to know the history of people in this country and understand the struggle that people went through to gain their civil rights. So approaching people in the right way really is an important look. There are bad folks out there who do bad things, and they need to be locked up and arrested and locked up. But the most of the interaction between the police and our citizens are everyday stuff. It's everyday interaction. And we need to be good-hearted, like-minded people and treat each other with respect. And that comes from the police officers to the citizens, from the citizens to the police officers. We need to continue to make that happen every day. And it's not a science. It's very much an art form. And it's how we speak to each other. It's how we talk. It's what we do. It's how we interact with each other every day that makes the difference in the relationship between the police and our citizens. And I think that we've done a decent job. We have a longer way to go than we've been. But I think with some of the things that are happening nationally, with the 91 points from the Justice Department that Commissioner Ramsey asked for and is implementing, we'll continue moving on and implementing those. And we're going to modernize our police force. I think body cameras are critical to telling the story about what actually is happening between police and citizens when there are interactions. And I think that body cameras are a good way to have a narrative and a photo of what's going on.
You mentioned Ramsey. Yeah, I don't want to put you on the spot. Does he look like he's going to be around?
Well, that's up to him. I mean, certainly he has done a very, very good job. He's a terrific person. He's one of the most decent people I've ever met as far as a human being. And he's a very, very good police commissioner. And if he would like to stay, then he's certainly willing to stay. If he would like to move on, I have an idea who I'd like to put there or ask to serve there. And I think we'll be good either way.
Okay, gun control.
I mean, look, we live in a gun
What can we do to help you?
Well, we live in a gun state. We live in a state whose culture is one of firearms. And the different culture is that in the center of the state and out west, they're talking about hunting and having your hunting weapons and not wanting anyone to intrude on the possession of those. In Philadelphia and other urban areas, we're talking about handguns that kill people. So there's a dichotomy between this gun state mentality and what it is other folks outside of Philadelphia are used to when it comes to firearms and what we're used to here with the carnage in our streets. We have to keep advocating to the state to give us some sensible gun laws that allow us to stop straw purchases from the person buying it for another person and then claiming it was stolen when it's found to be in the commission of a crime. The one gun a month issue that people buy guns by the truckload, which is just, I think, just insane. But we have to work on that. The background checks come at gun shows that are not required, so people with mental illness and convictions can get these guns. It's just a lot of things that make no sense when it comes to just being practical about it. But we got to keep on advocating with the Commonwealth and with the legislature to get some help.
Do you have friends out there who are kind of backing you up from the council, from Harrisburg, from the communities?
I've been in elected office for 24 years. I've been in politics about 38. So there are people that I've worked with in the legislature over the years who are now in public office, people in the House and the Senate, staff people who have gone on to work for the governor now. So there's a whole myriad of folks that I have contact with and have interaction with in a positive way. And my relationship with the legislature is going to be such that I'm going to try to get whatever we can get and get the help that we need. I'm not going to be antagonistic and beating them up and clubbing them on the head every day, because you really don't get anywhere with that. It's trying to make sense, tell your story, negotiate with them, and try to get the best you can. And when there's areas of investment that we can do together, like for example the Port of Philadelphia, that's with the things that we try to work on. The things that I know I can't change, we're not going to go to war over those. I want to try to get what I can. In council, I really don't have any people in council that I can't work with. Council President Clark has been a terrific president. I'm looking forward to working with him, looking forward to working with the leadership team there. It's only 17 people, so it's not that hard to get along with 17 people. And I've been there, and I know what their needs are, what their issues are, what their concerns are, and we'll work together to row this boat in the same direction.
Why do you want to be mayor of this city?
I want people's lives to be markedly different at the end of 8 years than they are now. I want to fix the police-community relations. I want to make sure that people have an opportunity to work in jobs that can raise families and take care of their kids better than have a better life than they've had. I want to get people back from prison and help them redeem themselves. No one can redeem anyone, and I'm not Jesus. I can't redeem anyone personally, but we can provide opportunities for people to redeem themselves. No one wants to be in jail. No one wants to have a life of misery and poverty. No one wants to be, a possible gunshot or killing victim on the street. No one wants that life, and we have to provide opportunities for people to change their lives and tell them that we believe in them and they can be redeemed, and they're not lost.
Big agenda. Where are you going to start?
Everywhere. The first thing is getting people around you, both in your immediate government and in the departments that think like you, and not only think like you, but also can tell you when they think you're wrong. You're not the smartest person in the room, and if you think you are, you're not that smart at all. So it's getting people in the government that are innovative, that are enthusiastic, that want to work hard, and will also give their opinion when it differs with yours. So that's really key, is to having a really good management team out there, and we're working on picking those folks now and talking about it. We still have an election to go through in November, so I can't be that presumptive that I'm going to be the mayor. I'm going to do my best to run this general election, and my opponent is a decent person who's got good ideas, and she works hard, and we're going to get through that, and then hopefully at that same time will coincide with when we start announcing who's going to be in the government. Some people will stay, some people will be new, and I think the mayor's done a really good job in bringing ethics to government. That's really something that's going to stay. We're not going to go anywhere back to where we were before. Moving forward, our issues on sustainability and the things that he's done with the environment and with parks, and they're all going to continue and grow. And hopefully, in this economy that's improving, we can do more things. He was hampered with a bad economy for a long time, and I'm sure there are a lot of things he wanted to do that he wasn't able to do because he didn't have the money. So we're going to try to build on that and grow it even more.
Door open policy for you?
Door open, yeah. I'm a regular person. I'm a Philadelphian my whole life. My father was a firefighter. I came from a middle row house neighborhood in South Philadelphia. Man, I grew up in a house that was 16 feet by 50 with 6 people in one bathroom. So
Whoa.
I'm not highfalutin, and I like to be normal and regular. I like to use public transportation. I like to have people be approachable to people. And I think that has been successful for me in the primary, is that they know that I will be the leader of the city, I will be the mayor, but I'm no different than them. I'm still Jimmy from the block. I like it that way. Thanks.
Thank you.
My pleasure.